Welcome to another episode of The Practical Metaphysical Journey, the place where practical meets the paranormal, the mundane meets the metaphysical, and the spiritual meets the spooky. A place where we share the experiences of our journeys here on Earth. We encourage you to listen and see what resonates, because we're all different yet the same. We invite you to take a break with us, so unpack and stay a while. We're glad you stopped by for a visit. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us yet again for another episode of the Practical Metaphysical Journey. Here with Deb and Lisa as normal. Today's going to be a little bit different in that we're going to talk about it was an activity we did right before we recorded this particular session, but we're going to talk about some of the results of it. It's called the transformation type, and Lisa can explain a little bit about where that comes from. But it's similar to things like if you've heard about Myers-Briggs or some of these other different tests that kind of help you start to understand where maybe you go as a default in the way you head into situations, and feel that's important to start understanding. And also we could talk a little bit about how you approach getting results out of something like this, because it doesn't necessarily say this is the only way you can be, but it gives you a starting point. And that ties in with a lot of what we've been talking about in some of the future episodes that we'll be recording, in thinking about this journey that you're on, and where are you, and becoming more self-aware and understanding yourself and how you are reacting to things, and having that understanding definitely helps in evolving to a better you as you're on this particular journey. So we start off, I guess, Lisa, if you want to talk a little bit what this comes from.
Okay.
This particular.
Sounds good. Yeah, that was a perfect layout to this. Just anything that we can do if we're feeling stuck. It may give us a better way to navigate going forward or get some ideas going. So yeah, this is great. So this is called the Transformation Type Quiz, and it comes from a course I took in Crystalline Consciousness Technique. It was in my level 1 and 2 class that we did this, and it was very interesting at the time. And taking the quiz again today, I don't know what my answers were the first time I took it, but today I was a little surprised at what it came out to. So it's good to check in every once in a while, I think. I don't know that it stays constant throughout your life, but just so you know. But I'll just read from the book just what this says about it, just to be concise. It says each phase, and we'll tell you what those are in just a minute, can show up as a pattern or thought and emotion that guides us through life. I just think that's wrapping up what you're saying, even about Myers-Briggs. The better you can learn your own personality, sometimes it's hard to see that in yourself. So these kind of quizzes just help you give some insight into what's going on. Do you have anything to say, Deb, before I say any more?
No, it's just it's interesting with these results, because they can be different over the years at different phases of life. Or I think these things are always fun to do if you are stuck or in a crisis or feeling overwhelmed or something. Go ahead and take one of these things, something like this, because it makes you do something when you're feeling stuck, and it may help you find out why you're stuck, or at least provide some forward momentum into recognizing where the issue is, and then maybe doing something about it, or just sparks that interest. I know a lot of times I get stuck or overwhelmed, I don't want to do anything, and this is kind of a great way to break out of that and get that spark of interest going.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think another way to approach it, and this comes from my past, I used to teach computers in the corporate environment. So we had taken some of these different types of tests a couple of times. But from the angle, those tests were learning styles.
Okay, yeah.
And it was the same type of thing. But for us being the teachers, it was not only learning or discovering what our learning style was, but then understanding that tends to be the default teaching style.
Right.
And that you have to be aware that people have different styles to learn. So I would say not only, if you're just stuck in a situation, and you look at something like this, think about it too, is are you stuck, like you having an issue with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
is kind of look at it from their viewpoint. Are they coming from a different style than what you're defaulting to?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that could help relationships as well.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That makes me think of like what is it? Is there 5 love languages or something?
Yes,
That book,
yes.
Yeah.
same kind of thing. So you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this doesn't work for me. Well, because I
Yep.
need this, I require this. So
Yep.
yeah, this is good. And of course, we pretty much bring everything back to metaphysics and spiritual with our conversations here. And that's what I like about this, is really thinking about it on that level.
Yeah.
Just kind of takes it to a different place. But so the three categories we're talking about is, the first one is what I call the idea people. The class calls it something different, but this is what I'm going to call it, where you're good at coming up with ideas. Okay. Then the second middle column is chaos, creative. So that's where everything's crazy and you're going through all the creation aspect. And then the third column is transformation, or bringing things to a conclusion. Now, naturally, what should happen in life is you hope that you go through these 3 phases in those orders. You get ideas, you have your creation, and you bring them to transformation. And you're going kind of in an upward spiral with that, right? So what we're learning about in these 3 phases is what phase are you best at, or are you good at a little bit of all of them? Like, what are you deficient in one? That's what we're looking for by taking this quiz. But we're doing this because we want to learn how to keep going in that upward transformation spiral. So if you find that you're deficient in some, that's where, like you said, Deb, you could get stuck, or you could start devolving. And then that's when you get in that like analysis paralysis, or you're in a place of depression, whatever that looks like for you. But it's not really a problem, it's just identifying where you're at. And then you may need to go find like a chaos creator person to help pull you out of that, or find somebody, maybe you don't have the ideas, you're stuck with that. You go find the different personality that you need to help start moving you back up in that upward transformation spiral.
And I like,
Go ahead, David.
I like the angle of, it's that cycle that you're in, that you develop the ideas, then you create something, and then bring it to fruition. But then you don't stay there. You're going back to the beginning, which that to me is different than the other stuff that I've taken, other types of tests but I like that angle of, you don't get stuck, but realize you may be in part of the cycle that you're not strong in.
Right.
And like you said, you find someone that maybe can help
pull
you along
Yeah.
in that cycle.
And there could be 12 or 15 things going at any one time, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
we could narrow this down to just, oh yes, this is just how I am. But when we think about every project we have, everything at work, whatever that looks like, me cleaning the house, I kind of get,
Oh, yeah.
I need help pulling me through that
Right.
transformation. It can go in any aspect you can think of as you start to.
And they're all movement based, because ideas are never one thing, they're constantly going on in our brains. We're having ideas and thoughts. Chaos, same thing. Chaos is all still motion, even though it might be keeping you in one spot, kind of like a whirlpool that just, but it can go
You
either
feel the
direction,
movement.
up or down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's that movement, and then the transformation. So, which is nice as the end piece of it, to transform and then get new ideas. Maybe go through the chaos of building. Goes right back to hero's journey and that whole self, the empowerment and involvement and all that stuff. I saw a really good bumper sticker the other day, and I took a picture of it. It says, "Hold on, let me overthink this." And I was like, I had to take a picture of that, because I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's me often.
And as we've talked, before in other sessions too, with the idea of metaphysics, it's energy. We're all energy, and energy is not stagnant either.
Correct.
It's in that cycle of transforming. So
Yeah. And I think part of our spiritual journey is knowing right timing. So we might have 12 or 15 things going on, and we're trying to get through these, we're doing it in 3 processes today we're speaking about, but to get to transformation. But not everything needs to come to transformation today,
Right.
or tomorrow, or maybe at all. Maybe it's not your place, but you came up with a fantastic idea. You may need to share that with someone else that can actually take that to fruition. So
Yeah.
spiritually, that's where I like to take this in, like, ooh, that just took it in different dimensions, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
different aspects of this. So it's not just personal, but it's also if you know that you are better at one of these categories,
Yeah.
then you may find it easy to pair up with someone else that can do the other things that are needed. Like it could be a fantastic idea, it's just not yours to bring into the world. But hey, Sarah over here would be fantastic.
Right.
She's been looking for something like this, and I just had the great idea for it. So let me give her a call and get her started. So that's where like overlaps.
Yeah.
You know, when you start to think about your different relationships with people.
And it is cool because the energetic flow can't be the same all the time. So there are moments where it has to slow down, and then like maybe the chaos section is throwing you for a loop, and it's slowing things down. But because we can't keep moving at the same pace all the time, and I have a great idea now, I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to transform. Okay, and I have another idea now. So things kind of have to come up to slow those waves, and so that you can transform instead of just completing tasks over and over.
Right, and just checking the box.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And,
That's
and
what I was
each
going at.
stage isn't necessarily the same amount of time.
Right.
Because there's been times I have ideas, and then I sit in that chaos stage because I call it, it needs to cook.
Yeah.
It
Right.
needs to boil, and I got to see what kind of comes out of that particular idea before, I could transform it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting as people are listening to this, they may realize like, oh yeah, I have a lot, like you said, I have a lot of ideas floating around in my head. And other people are like, yeah, I don't have a clue. Like there's I am not motivated right now by anything. And then other people, people that can transform easy, they're already like thinking of the whole process. They're already like, oh yeah, I could, kick that out next week. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think this is a fun quiz to take for that kind of thing. So just delving in a little bit deeper into each category. So the first one, I call it the idea phase, or the people that can start things, right?
Yeah.
The people that have that. They can adapt to things pretty quickly, and they're usually people that are on the trends, which makes sense.
Interesting.
They're kind of forward thinkers, right?
Right.
They're forward thinkers. And they're kind of ahead of the pack, so to say, with everything. Now, as far as our individual scores, for me today, like I have taken this quiz a couple times over the years. Today, I was like a little bit deficient in this one. Like this was my least amount of having like yes answers. So for me, it was a little bit deficient. So I thought that was interesting. So maybe I'm just at that point right now where I don't have any ideas. I'm just like there's nothing to create right now, and that's okay. I don't feel bad about that. It was just an interesting observation. Now you guys both kind of, so there were 8 questions we asked in each column. So mine was 3 yeses and 5 nos for this particular column. For Deb and David, you guys were 4 fours.
4. Yeah.
So you were kind of neutral, which was interesting. And there is healing around each one of these. I don't know how much I want to get into this since this was a paid class that I took. This is more of like an observation type thing that we're doing just to give you some ideas. But if you're struggling in this area, that there are some things that you could do to help move yourself out of this if you felt like this was where you're struggling. So it'd be great to have feedback on this episode from people, and then maybe we could do a separate episode with that kind of thing. This is more of just a taster, just to see where we're at, how we can navigate through different things using this knowledge that we're getting today. So the middle column was the chaos, which some people love and some people hate. Like when the house is a mess, I hate it. But when I'm working on a project and I've got all my stuff laid out all around me, it's exciting. I love that part of it. So what do you guys think?
If you saw my house right now, you'd be horrified. It's just, I had a million projects going this morning because I was a little rushed for time and I've been traveling and all. But, everything is spread out across my little craft table with stuff I was trying to complete, and then stuff I was trying to start, and things I was trying to get to somebody else that wanted things. So, oh my God, it is, right now, it's complete chaos. As much as I hate the clutter, I I really want someone to pick it up for me. But I also want all my stuff around me all the time because it's like, oh, I could write. Oh, let me journal real quick on this. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so I have all my journal crap there. Then it's like, oh, you know what? I know what I'm wearing tomorrow. I need to make a pair of earrings to go with that. Okay, so all that crap's in front of me. So and then it's like, oh, you know what? I need to just kick back, but I need all my stuff plugged in. So I've got like 6 things plugged in at a time, and then we won't even talk about the crystals and stones that are in every pocket, everything. It's just, and as much as I'd like them to all have their own little place, I still want them all with me too. So all of the stuff, it's like, so it's chaotic.
So that might be a different quiz. Like, so visually, you need to have everything out.
Yeah.
So like, you have the filers and then you have the pilers.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So people are good at filing things away and they stay perfectly organized. Or we have the pilers where everything's out on the desk where they have to see it. And it's still organized. They could pick a piece of paper out of all those
It's
hacks.
my organized chaos.
Yeah.
Nobody else will know where anything is. You don't know what you're going to find under it, but I know exactly, oh, okay, wait, I know where that is. I can grab it. So it's that. And it's interesting because that type of physical chaos I can deal with, but any mental chaos, sometimes that's different. That's a whole nother ball of wax when thoughts are in turmoil or there's other emotional things or that going on. So yeah, I think it's interesting to kind of differentiate between the two. That type of chaos is very different, but I'm not fearful of it. I used to be in there a lot, but then I feel like that's more where the transformation part comes out too. So I was kind of interested by how I scored on that.
Yeah, so for you, you had a 3-5
Yeah.
in that one, but that's okay. That just means you got a lot of stuff. You have a lot of stuff. But we talked about this too, like we said earlier, is right timing. So you're great at the ideas. You're getting yourself into the chaos of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So maybe they're obviously not probably all come to fruition at the same time.
Yeah.
So some may wait, some may be quick, and
Yeah.
that's okay too. A lot of this is navigating again from a spiritual standpoint of just keeping ourselves going. We want to go in that upward spiral. So
Right.
not everything is going to necessarily happen at the same time. There's going to be projects that are in idea phase. There's going to be things in all 3 phases at any one time.
Yeah, I was even scored on that particular, angle of it, and in my mind, what I was thinking with that category of chaos, I almost don't like the word chaos because it has somewhat of a negative connotation to it, and that chaos is bad.
Right.
A similar test that I had taken like this, it talked about how people carry projects through. And that column is very similar to what that test would have called the refiner. So it's somebody that can take an idea and refine it before you go and actually execute it, which in this case would be the transformation. So, my score on here didn't surprise me that it was even on that. Because I don't look at it as chaos. When I have a new idea, it's what's possible with this idea. So I have all these possibilities.
Yeah.
And you're working through all of that and eventually come up with what you feel is going to be the best possibility. So where you two were talking about, you've got all this stuff laid out in front of you. To me, that's what it is you've got all the possibilities in front of you.
Okay.
And it's not bad. It's just... It needs to all be there so that you can then figure out what the right combination is.
I like that. Yeah.
Which, we haven't talked much about it, but we will when we get to the whole idea of quantum theory.
Yeah.
And that everything exists in its possible state until somebody observes it, and then everything breaks down and it goes one way. So this chaos stage, to me, fits perfectly with the whole idea of how quantum works, and that everything is possible, and then you figure it out, and you go a direction.
Right.
With things.
I love that. Yeah, that's why I call it chaos and then creative or creation. It's that act of creation, that physical part of the creation of something.
It makes sense too, because everything is laid out. It really is. It's like, oh, okay, I've got some work stuff, I've got that, then I've got my hobby stuff, then I've got my other stuff that I like, and then I've got this too, and I've got this too. So yeah, as far as the quantum, everything's happening all at once. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
It is.
Especially on my desk right now. So
The smorgasbord is laid
it
out.
is. The universe is all right there, visibly, physically.
And that was part 1 of our discussion about using personality assessment tests to help you understand where you are on your path in life and how we've used those types of tests ourselves.